It was supposed to be an ordinary salvage run. Quiet, empty, boring. That's what everyone told Corporal Jace Renner when he left the forward outpost for the drifting research ark in orbit above Voldera 7. The ark had gone silent 6 days earlier. No distress beacon, no transmissions. Just a massive, floating corpse of metal, turning slowly through the nebula's violet glow. Human salvage teams hated these kinds of jobs. Too many unknowns, but Jace never complained. Lonely missions suited him. Far better than the shouting officers, the politics, and the pitying looks when people remembered what unit he had lost. So he docked his shuttle in the ark's ventral bay, cycled through the airlock, and stepped into the silent corridor. Rifle raised, visor polarizing automatically in the dimness. The place smelled faintly of ozone and burnt circuitry. Something had gone wrong here. Very wrong. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared him for the tiny voice behind the crate. A squeak. A sniffle. A frightened little breath. Jace froze instantly. "Show yourself," he ordered, not harshly but firmly. The crate trembled. Then a small figure peeked over the top. Huge yellow eyes, shimmering like polished crystal, stared at him with raw terror. The creature was barely 3 feet tall, with soft, silvery skin, thin arms, and a tail coiled around her like a frightened kitten. She wasn't human. She wasn't from any species he recognized either. When she saw his towering armored form, she gasped sharply and vanished behind the crate again. Great, Jace thought, a survivor, and a terrified child at that. He stepped back a little to make himself look less threatening. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said gently. From behind the crate came a trembling whisper, her voice tiny but musical. "You cannot fool me, human. I know the stories. You devour my kind." Jace blinked. "What?" She peeked up again, eyes wet. "Humans eat everything. My mother said, if a human ever catches us, they swallow us whole." Jace lowered his weapon immediately. "I promise you, I don't eat people, especially not small ones." "You do not?" Her voice cracked, unsure if she should believe him. "But the legends are usually written by someone who never met the people they're scared of." The little alien sniffled, wiped her eyes, and slowly came out from behind the crate. She still kept distance, hugging herself. Who are you?" she whispered. "Corporal Jace Renner, Terran Union Marines," he said. "And you?" She tilted her small head. "My name is Lily. I am a Yulari assistant researcher of Deck 9. Or was." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Everyone else is gone." Jace breathed out slowly. He had suspected casualties, but hearing it from a child made the emptiness of the ark feel colder. "What happened here, Lily?" he asked. She trembled. "Something awakened in the lower labs. Something we were not meant to study. The others ran. Some did not make it." She clutched her tail tightly. "I hid, but I heard it moving. It hunts by sound." Jace's instincts sharpened. "Is it still aboard?" She nodded rapidly. "Yes, and it is hungry." So she feared he would devour her. But there was something else here that actually might. "Wonderful. Stay behind me," he said. Lily squeaked. What, no, if I follow you, it will catch me first." "Exactly," Jace replied dryly. "That way it doesn't catch me." Her eyes widened in panic, until he gave a small smirk. Lily tilted her head confused. Then she realized he was teasing her. Slowly, hesitantly, a tiny smile tugged at her trembling lips. Humans were strange, but maybe not monsters. The hunted. Jace moved cautiously through the dim hallways, Lily scampering behind him on light, silent feet. She stayed close enough to touch him, but never actually touched. Her fear was still too raw. "What does this creature look like?" Jace asked quietly. Lily shuddered. "A nightmare. No eyes, all teeth. It smells thoughts." "That's not how smelling works." "For it does." "Fantastic." They reached the main research wing doors, blown inward, claw marks scoring the metal. Something strong, fast, and unhealthy. Jace knelt and examined the marks. Lily hovered next to him nervously. "It broke out," he muttered. Lily whispered, "It was starving when they found it." The others thought they could tame it. But when it woke, it ate the entire Gene Lab staff before the alarms even sounded. Jace looked at her sharply. "And you survived because you hid?" She nodded. "Yellari are small, easy to overlook, but not always easy to escape." She swallowed hard. "It almost found me once. I heard it breathing through the vents. I thought, today I would die." Her voice cracked, and she hugged herself tightly. Jace softened. "Not today." The little alien looked up at him with wide eyes filled with too much fear for someone so small. "Why?" she asked. "Why would a human protect someone like me?" Jace didn't hesitate. "Because I'm a Marine, and Marines don't leave survivors behind." Lily blinked, surprised. "Dust Mother told me humans only protect their own." Dust Mother was wrong. She smiled faintly again. The monster in the dark. They moved deeper into the ark. Lights flickered overhead, creating long, twitching shadows across the floors. Lily's tail wound around her ankles nervously. "What do humans eat then?" she whispered suddenly. "If not, small aliens." Jace snorted quietly. "Mostly plants, protein rations, synthetic meat cubes. Not the most exciting diet." Lily wrinkled her nose. "You eat cubes? That is unnatural." "We manage." She giggled softly, until something heavy scraped across metal ahead of them. Both froze. A slow, dragging sound. Wet. Hungry. Lily's body locked with terror. "It found us." Jace pushed her behind him and raised his rifle. The sound came again. Closer. Faster. Then. Silence. Lily whimpered. Jace steadied her with a calm voice. "Eyes open. Stay alert." The creature lunged from the ceiling vents. A mass of black sinew and bone slammed down in front of them, jaws gaping, rows of teeth spiraling inward like a living grinder. No eyes, no face, just hunger. Lily screamed. Jace fired. Plasma bursts lit the corridor, searing into the creature's body. But it moved impossibly fast, zigzagging, rippling across the walls. "Run!" Jace shouted. Lily didn't need to be told twice. She darted down the corridor, nimble and quick. Jace fired while retreating, keeping himself between her and the nightmare behind them. The creature screeched, a sound like metal tearing. "Left!" Lily cried. Jace followed her instinctively. She knew the ship better than he did. They ducked into a maintenance shaft and slammed the hatch shut. The monster slammed into it seconds later. The metal dented inward. Lily whimpered. "We are going to die." "No." Jace braced the hatch. "Not today." Lily stared at him, shaking, terrified, and yet trusting him. A human. A creature she once thought devoured little aliens like snacks. Jace thought quickly. Is there a way to vent a section of this deck? She blinked, then gasped. Yes, the emergency purge bay, but a purge will kill anything inside. That's the point. But I'll survive behind bulkhead shielding. You just show me where. She hesitated only a second before nodding fiercely. Follow me. They sprinted across the maintenance tunnels, the monster pursuing them through ventilation shafts overhead. Every crash made Lily flinch. Every shriek rattled her bones. Finally, they reached a small control room with a thick glass window overlooking a massive storage bay. Lily's little hands flew over the controls. I can open the purge chamber, but once it starts, there is no stopping. Understood. She pointed toward the bay. You must lure it inside. Jace nodded grimly. Stay behind the shielded glass. But, no arguing, Lily. She bit her lip and nodded. Jace sprinted into the bay, slamming metal crates and shouting to draw the creature out. It didn't take long. The vents above exploded open in a shower of debris as the monster lunged downward, shrieking. Now, Jace roared. Lily hit the purge command. Massive bulkhead doors sealed shut. Air roared as it was sucked from the chamber. The creature clung to the floor with hooked limbs, screeching at the sudden vacuum. Jace braced himself against the inner shielding barrier. Pressurization purge complete. The creature's body shattered against the far wall as the last of the air tore it apart. Silence. Jace slumped to the floor, breathing hard. Lily sprinted into the bay as soon as the doors opened again. Her little eyes were wide with worry. You are alive, she cried. Jace chuckled weakly. Little close, but yeah. Without thinking, Lily leapt forward and hugged him, tiny arms clinging tightly around his neck. Jace blinked in surprise. I thought you were afraid humans would devour you. Lily sniffled into his chest. I was wrong. Humans do not devour. They save. Jace's voice softened. Not always, but we try. She looked up at him, tears still wet on her cheeks. Can I stay with you? Just until I find somewhere safe. He smiled. Yeah, I think that's exactly what we'll do. Lily's tail flicked happily. And for the first time since he'd boarded the Silent Ark, Jace felt a warmth in his chest he hadn't felt in years. A purpose, a life to protect. Someone small and fragile who believed in him. Lily took his hand gently. Human Jace, thank you. Just Jace, he corrected. She smiled brightly. Then, thank you, Jace. As they walked back toward the shuttle, the nebula outside shimmered through the broken windows. Violet waves glowing like a quiet promise. A human and a tiny alien girl. An unlikely pair. But survivors, both of them. And together, they left the dead Ark behind. End.